Hello, guys. Thank you again for joining me on another interesting episode of Bookish Reflections. And this is going to be very interesting because I'm sitting down with not just a very interesting guest. This is a friend I have known for a very long time, and her passion for books is just amazing. And we're going to be sitting down to discuss this wonderful book written by Abi Dare, and that is The Girl with the Louding Voice. If you are just joining me for the first time, Bookish Reflections is all about books, basically examining social issues through books. And I'm so excited that you are with me. Thank you so very much. And for those who are coming back again to watch and watch, I am grateful. It means you appreciate the content that I put out there. Thank you so very much. I have always said it, books mirror society. And so what better way to examine society than through wonderful characters and amazing stories? So sit back and relax and enjoy my conversation with Opeyemi Odunjo, a writer, researcher, and CEO of Oak Harris Imports. Hi, Oppai. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
And I hope you've had a pleasant day.
Yes.
I hope no stress, Lagos traffic, all those, you know how it is. Anyway, looking at your face, I think you're good. You've enjoyed yourself.
Well, if you say so, I believe so too. If you say so,
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome.
So I'm
You're
excited
welcome.
because I get to talk about a book. And I know after speaking with you behind the scenes, you had already told how much you loved the book. So let me by asking, what was your overall impression? For the sake of those that didn't listen to us at the background, tell us your overall impression about the book.
Okay, I think when you told me, said Opeyemi, I was like, wait. You were like, but the grammar is I was like, wait, is it something like Amos Utola's palm wine drinker? Then you laughed. I was like, I hope I can cook. Though I thoroughly enjoyed the palm wine drinker, I really loved it. Like, okay, let's see. But I was hooked on me. Like, I was hooked. For me, it was a journey. So much highs and lows. So much emotions. Like, I was going with Adunni. I went through with her. I went through her pain with her. I went through the apprehension with her. I went through the anxiety with her. I went through the happiness with her. I went through the pains, the beatings. At a point, I broke down. Let me not lie. I broke down at a point. I cried. I cried. I was like, how can anybody go through this? How can anyone be this inhuman? Like, how can you do this to someone else like you? I had so many questions. I was angry. I feel like just going to go to the book I know. and in Florence over to the police, and it was emotional for me. But at the end of the day, it was worth the while. It was sincerely worth it. I enjoyed the book. I must say, Abi Dare did a very good job. A very good job. Yeah, very good job.
After I started talking about the fact that I was going to discuss this book, my sister went to get her copy. Another friend of mine went to get her copy, and everyone that seemed to hear a lot of my gist on social media about the girl with the louding voice that went to get their copies kept like, oh my god, everybody needs to read this book. They were all announcing everybody needs to read this book. You know, there is something about we book lovers when we recommend books and people like it. It's like, we get that very exciting feeling, you know.
I understand that feeling. Yes, I do.
Yeah, the book is so interesting. So anybody watching this and if you've not gotten this, you are missing. You have heard Opeyemi give her verdict from the beginning to the end. You won't want to drop the book. Okay, so I was going to also ask the main character, Adunni. Adunni is our center focus. It is around her the whole story revolves. How do we describe Adunni?
Yes.
I feel like she is one out of many in Nigeria today that we do not know. I always say there are many Adunnis, many people who are there at that age facing life. I mean, harsh realities of life that some of us who are way above 14 years old we haven't even traversed that path at all. And so how do we describe Adunni? What were the
characteristics of this girl that drew you to her, and you were like, wow, probably made you think deeply about the issue we want to discuss about today, which is domestic violence?
Okay, for me, I think when the chapter opened up, my first impression was, the way she used her language to describe the setting. This is a rural setting. The lack of like basic things in the home. We're told of that TV that Bomboy picked up.
Yes.
You know,
Didn't
yeah.
wasn't
We're told
what.
about the sofa that had no just wood alone. There
Yeah.
were no cushion. Like, it was just the house was bare. She talked about her brother, like the pillow that was soaked with urine over the years. And then something jumped into my face: poverty, abject poverty.
Yeah.
So for me, I saw her as someone who was making do with what was around her. That's the first thing. And I saw her tenacity throughout the book. No, we have to use that she was tenacious. Yes, no. Our ability to always, recover, and although we might say that providence brought things our way, but she was always ready. She was not caught, being unready, so to put. She was ready for the next level at every stage. So I saw someone, a lady in the rural environment, making do with what she has, a lady whose life is about to be turned around against our wishes. And then she's saying, even with what I have, I will make lemon out of this lemonade. So I see her as a typical rural African child,
Yeah.
who is always sacrificed for other people. If you go through way back, if you go through our books in school, you see that usually the woman is like, she's always the one that has to have a life, stopped so that someone else's life will go on. You get, she was the currency being spent. She was the one
Yeah.
that was traded with. Someone has to go to school, okay, marry her off and use her bride price or dowry, to do something right. We can see this even in Buche Mecheta's the Joys of Motherhood, where we find one of our twins, Inuego's twins, one of them, the parent was used to further the cause of one of our brothers. And then this is a recurrent theme over the years. But I think for me and you, because of course we have friends who are, enlightened, we have knowledge, we grew up in urban area, so we might not really have Adunni's experience. But what about thousands of girls who are in this rural environment, who are subjected to child marriage every time they are told that, don't worry, you're just a girl, no, we are grooming you for marriage.
Yeah.
Your job is in the kitchen. So if you realize that Adunni was always doing something, I do not recollect that Kayus or Bonboy did anything of what. Okay, yes, Kayus Bonboy was always at his workplace where he was trying to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
But we didn't hear of anything doing anything. It was always Adunni. So that's the typical life of the rural girl child. She's told that you are just an addendum, the real thing. You're just there to help make her lives better. And so at a point, I was very, very, I think at a point I was scared. I was like, would Adunni be able to, stop her father from selling her off? But you know how it went. It didn't happen. And so I had my heart sinking. I was like, oh, why now? Something should have happened. So
Yeah.
that's it. She's witty, and she has a sharp mouth. I think what she lacks in strength, physical strength, she had in abundance with her mouth. She had such great or in fact, she liked when she described people made me laugh. Nobody could get her down. She just give you one word and you just recoil and say, hey, this girl. And so no, she was very witty. She had a very sharp mouth, and she was loquacious too. She was bold, fearless. Kojo would tell what's his name? Yes, Kojo would tell her, you Kofi, he would tell her that you talk too much, you are too bold. Try to tone it down. And we find that how you tone it down a bit so that you get married. Tone it down a bit so that you get, just tone it down. And that's what they tell every one of us, tone it down. But we are not tuning up. We are highly increasing the value so that we hear us better.
What you just said made me remember my own personal experience. I remember a
Okay.
young man telling me that, in fact, two different guys. One said, if he notices that I talk a lot, I'm too expressive, and if you want to get married fast, though, you have to. Guys don't like girls that are too bold. And I was like, ah,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't like boys that want to keep me timid. You know, that kind of thing.
I get,
I
yeah, I
was
get.
shocked that people still think like this in the 21st century. Well, but
Yes, that's it.
that is
So
what.
that's the reality.
Now back
Mm-hmm.
to Adunni. For those of us that have not read the book, so this is Adunni, a 14-year-old girl whose
Yes.
primary goal and desire was to go to school, but growing up
Mm-hmm.
like you have described, an environment saddled with poverty, she
Mm-hmm.
lost her mother. We must also say that her mother, who was the major encourager, who had been behind her, telling her that, look, you must go to school. I want you to go to school and all of that,
Yes.
died. And so it looked as if her vision for education died because her father did
Mm-hmm.
not see the importance of it. He was described as very lazy. All he could do was drink, come home drunk, and all of that. So Aduni, like you said, was tenacious and really wanted to go to school. But one thing led to another. She's married off. And that's where you spoke about the fact that women are seen as currencies to buy their
Mm-hmm.
families out of poverty, out of impoverishment. So when she gets married, the bride price is paid, and but how much really? As if the money will not finish. Now, my question is,
Mm-hmm.
Morufu, the Morufus and the Aduni's fathers that we have, men who see women primarily as objects, as sex objects, because I was so angry when I was reading Morufu and Aduni's marriage story, which I wouldn't term it as marriage. I call it sexual molestation. Just I
Okay.
don't know if you understand what I mean, because Aduni did
I
not know
get you.
anything about sex and all of that. But these characters,
Mm-hmm.
these men that make it look like women are just properties. How do we come out of this at this time in this 21st century? I just shared my own experience of a guy telling me
Okay.
that I needed to be less talkative.
Assertive.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So that I can get married
Be
on time.
coy.
Yes.
Be sober. I
So
now I think
how do we
I think
tackle that?
yeah, we have our answer in Ajuni's mother.
Mm,
Yes. We have I feel that Abi Dare spoke through her to tell us one. No, when you like no when you're in a dark place and light comes, light illuminates.
yes.
You get. And so our mother understood the power of education. Having lost a suitor herself because of her state. She had Ade as a lover, the UK guy that came to check
Yeah.
on her and met Aduni. And then when she was telling, you could feel the pain in her when she was telling Aduni the story that we loved each other. But unfortunately, I was not educated, and it too, we was we're words apart. And his parents said, no way can you marry someone who is, unlearned and all that. And so she saw herself lost love.
Mm.
She saw herself that she lost a beautiful marriage that would have, made her life better. She saw that my daughter will not go through this.
The
And so,
same.
she said, Aduni, education is the way out. And then we now find Aduni first saying that I will have a louding voice, not just any kind of voice, but a voice that speaks, that when I come, people will just say, excuse me, who's this? Who is like, they will have no choice but to honor me. So we find that when people are educated, see, it goes beyond just school. Yes, school, formal education is there, but we have to learn, relearn, unlearn things as we move on in life. And
Mm.
even if you find yourself in school and you refuse to let go of some archaic ideologies, you'll be stuck, in the obsolete world. So,
Yeah.
but because Ajuni had no prior exposure to proper education, for her, education was what she needed to escape, to have a louding voice in quotes. So how would other Adunis escape? You need knowledge, because knowledge is power, knowledge is light. So even if you don't want to go to school, we also have other like forms of informal training. You can learn a trade. You get through that you are empowered, because when you are empowered, and that's the difference we see with Florence and her husband Big Daddy. She had the financial strength that he did not have. Now let's flip the script. Imagine that Florence was at the mercy of her husband. You can imagine how disastrous that marriage would be. Even with her money, she was going through such. What if the script
They
was
have money.
flipped? Gross disrespect, and so much would go on in that marriage. So the issue is that Adunni needed education, and she needed why? Because she needed to be empowered. Because once you're empowered, no one can walk over you. You know what is right for you. You can stand up for yourself, stand up for other people. And if you watch out for her, she said that she wanted to be free so that she could go back to the village and free other people. And we find that everything, every time. She told Mrs. Tia, she said, I want to have, this, we need water, we need this. I want to go back so that my village people can get education, especially the girls. She wanted this solar energy for light, because she was thinking beyond herself. Because once you train someone, light comes, and that light will creep throughout the darkness. And before you know it, darkness will just keep on, disappearing, and before it is just gone, entirely gone. Everywhere is as bright as day. So that's the power of empowerment through education.
We saw how much Adunni missed her mother. She kept referring to her mom, my mom, my mom. There were many reminiscences of how her mother would have handled things if she were alive, and some of the values that the mother or her mother had taught her. And then I see how valuable mothers are, especially in the life of a girl child. So, how do we interrogate the concept of motherhood in this book? How does Abi
Okay.
Dare show motherhood in this book?
Okay. I think that motherhood does not really mean, or does not really just refer to the female gender alone, and I'll explain why. Now, in the book, Adunni's mother is the first first picture of motherhood that we see, and through her we see the work of nurturing, the work of grooming, the work of enlightening, like the process of making people understand what is right, what is wrong. And we see that through the lessons that she teaches Adunni. Through her, Adunni learns menstrual hygiene, personal hygiene, domestic work. She learns how to, do things in the home. Now, she also learns other things that impact on her character. Now, we see that her mother told her at the point, she said, when she told her, I said, Mom, why are you always doing this for all these old women in Agon village and around, even in the Kate? You don't have enough. And she says, you won't stop doing good. Even says that when Adunni finally gets to Lagos, and she's been, beaten and all that, she still gives Madame Florence, that respect. At the point, the night that Florence finds out that our friend Caroline Bankole and her husband were actually an item and they were cheating on her, she broke down. It was this same Adunni that went to the living room, sat down with her, and she began to sing to make her feel someone who does not regard you, beats you. Like, she almost cracked her head at a point, if not for Miss Tia's intervention. So we see that seed sown by Adunni's mother, actually grew and germinated and bore fruits that we could all see in her. Now, through her, we also see. Now, I feel that motherhood is not just it's not gender specific. No, it is not. Yes, we have. Mrs. Florence, the mother, she has 2 children. You remember?
Yes, who are outside the country.
Not once did she treat Adunni and Kofi right. Not once. Miss Tia, when the book ended, still had not had a child. As we see her treating Adunni way better than even the mothers we have in that book. We have Caroline, we have some people who were always mocking Adunni and like that. But none of them took that motherhood position. They were all they were all high and mighty. They were high and mighty. They were rich women. They had luxury. They did not break themselves down to anybody's level. And what about Kofi? Kofi for me is like the integral person in this in this book is the one that turns Adunni's life around. Yes, it looks unassuming. It looks like as if it's like saying, Adunni, don't talk too much. As if he wants to tell her to shut up. But even at that, it gives her a ticket to education. Through him, Adunni escapes from that house, that crazy house where she was maltreated. You know, he is a man, but he has shown, you know, the attitude of that I can relate with motherhood, that care, love. He's a man, yet at that, he has done what other women in the book could not and would not even think of doing. So even though he's a man, yet he portrays that motherhood, you know, instinct and care that we should find in every woman. We actually saying Caroline and Florence and others like that. We find that character in, and let's look at Adunni's journey from her mother. Then she moves on to Morifu's house, and in that place she finds Khadija. While Rebecca was, you know, she was very unfriendly and mean, Khadija was a sense of reasoning in that house. She was a sense of calm and peace.
Yeah.
From Khadija to Kike told her, said, even if you cannot be a teacher right now, in your mind, envision it, think about it. While you are there in your mind, I'm thinking about being a tailor. In your mind, you want to be a teacher. Leave that word in your mind, even though in reality you're not living that word. But in your mind, don't shut the door against your dreams. Then she escapes to. Now we find the motherhood instinct even in Keyus, as against Bonbon and her father. You get
covered up for her.
It's good. Look at when it came to Agon village. Now look at Mama, the grandma that said that I will call my brother. So we have mothers there. What about Kofi that went to obtain that form that gave Adunni the ticket to education? So please, it's not gender specific for me. It is everywhere that you can make someone's life better. You can love someone extra, make someone feel love, because you don't know where that person will get to. Even if the person never gets to anywhere in your life, it should be in you that you will help or extend a lending hand to everyone around you. Don't be wicked like, you know, the women of Wellington Road, you know, who were high up and they could not even look down. So that's for me the motherhood concept in that book. Be good, care for others, lend a helping hand, because you don't know what will happen. Perhaps Adunni might become the first female president of Nigeria. Let's wait and see what Abi Dare tell us in our next.
I totally agree with all that you have said. Now let's talk about the issue of domestic violence, which I feel is a serious issue, especially in Nigeria. I have been reading news reports about how people maltreat, whether they are children that live with them that are not their biological children, or their domestic staff. And I think it's an issue that some people see it as normal. If you are a maid, you expect that you'll be beaten. Like, you can always distinguish who the maid is in the house. They won't enroll them in schools. They are the most weirdly dressed, mismatched clothes, terrible shoes. Whereas you see the children of the madam looking all good, yes, all glammed up, but the maid. And in the book, there was in the church, the church that is supposed to be to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. There was the divide. There was the housemaid service, and in the housemaid service, if the way the author describes where they are kept, treated basically as less than humans to me. And so, how do we tackle domestic violence? I know that there are organizations that are around. I don't know how many there are that are speaking up, but I don't think they are loud enough. What can we do? Especially some of us that have now read this book. How do we begin to take action?
Okay, for me, this shows the power of books, because when you read books, you realize where you've fallen and begin to, you know, take correction and make necessary amendments. Now, I spoke to someone who went through what Adunni went through, because I wanted to have, you know, a substantial, insight of what that person went through. And I must say, like their life, they have horrible tales to tell, horrible tales to tell, or like horrid stories that you can't imagine that anyone will go through, anyone who what's the word to use, who loves someone, who has love, but who has the tiniest seed of love in him or her. And then the tales were sordid, were terrible. And I realized that we see this around us. We can't now. It's easy for us to say it's just Florence, Caroline, and like. What about you? What about me? We have Adonis all around us. We have them in church, have them in our families, have them in our neighborhood, even the houses that we live in, we have them. But we just turn the blind eyes. It's not me now, it's not my family. It's their business. So, child, don't kill the girl. You are there. Someone else's child is being maltreated. You turn the blind eye because it's not my child. What if life turns and your child is in that position? Won't you turn in your grave if you knew what your child was going through?
Yeah.
Now, I think it lies on us to say that this must stop. From me, I will be the change. I will be the change. Now, we see it every time. When you see that's the way you just know the hair is tattered, the skin is not looking good. You know what? I was totally shocked when I heard that they had maids. Maid service care.
Yeah.
In this same Nigeria. Yeah, so we are having it sounded very fun actually, but that is reality.
Yeah.
The person told me that she said with our madam then that our madam asked her not to eat, that this person will slave to cook. Don't eat, she won't eat. When our madam's children are through with it, the leftovers will now be combined and given to her. No extra on it, my sister. That's the life. Beatings. And do you know what? For this person's story, like looks like Adunni a lot because she had this kind of intervention. Someone said, "No, you must stop this life." The person took her out of that environment and put her into school. And in fact, like Adunni, she wanted to go to school, wanted to learn. You get so they have so much similarities. And then I realized that change must start with me. It must start with you. You must say that when I see this, I will call it out for the evil that it is. So this is wrong. You know better. You are enlightened. Put yourself in this person's shoe. How would you feel if someone slaps you on the head? You say, "Good." We say after that, okay, the child is not. It's a collective work in training up a child. So how would you feel if someone says, "Hey, come here," and slaps your child? You say, "Well done, sir." Is that what you tell the person?
I doubt
Obviously,
that happen.
It's not. I trust African mothers. Hey, leave my, those kind of. The job that will spoil you.
Yes.
So you will not allow even a mosquito, out to your child, how much more someone else's child. So put yourself in that issue. Decide that I will be different. The change will start from me. I will see evil and I will call it out. Now we have agencies who are saying that this must. I think if you go through social media, you see that each time we have people being called out for all these evil things they are doing.
Yeah.
And then they are prosecuted. So when you see it, call it out, report to the authorities. If it is too much, I think I saw somebody to use hot iron on the boy's back.
Yeah.
Exist.
Yeah, I think it was all over the news at some point.
Yeah. Now, even if you were ironing your dress and by mistake or error, that iron lands on your finger, you know the kind of drama that you would do. You will scream in agony. So someone takes iron and you decides to, hey, I can't even imagine. So it shows that once it's not us, we say it's not me now. Yeah, I don't care, but put yourself in, because you don't know what life will bring, what fates will throw your way or your generation's way. So we must do better. Actually, we must do better.
You are so correct, because I knew I was going to be talking about this. I went online and started reading articles and some research papers on what has been done about domestic workers and domestic violence. And I remember reading a bit by this Zara Nesbitt Ahmed. And she said something which you have said awareness can also be raised more broadly on domestic workers' rights and social protection, as well as the role of unions to improve domestic workers' working conditions through lobbying and collective action. The word I underline there is collective action. Everybody pulling together, people coming together and saying that we recognize that there is an epidemic of domestic violence on domestic workers. The caller was also very exploitative. He practically sold that girl and was collecting the money. He didn't give her a dime of her salary. So she was basically
Yeah,
working
yeah.
for free. We need to call these people out. We need to say no, enough is enough. And I feel like the government, especially the social department or welfare department, they still have a lot of work to do, because these people are in their thousands, if I can even say millions. Almost every middle class home, or can I use the word almost, or many middle class homes have maids. Especially when you're in Lagos here, when you know you are working 9 to 5, and it's not really 9 to 5, it's basically 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. from the time you're
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
road. So a lot of people have left the care of their children and their homes in the hands of domestic staff, and many of them are being
Yes.
treated as worse than human beings, and that I believe is sad. So before you go, let's talk about Rebecca. I think she's
Okay.
a very important character too,
Okay.
and how Madame Florence's husband um, had his way with her, and how, I don't want to give spoilers, but the Rebeccas of our time,
Okay.
how see how Madame Florence dealt with it to preserve her marriage at the expense
Mm.
of a girl's life. You know,
Yes.
um, how do we make society see that no person is worthless? Because I feel that Rebecca is a symbol of the worthlessness attached to domestic workers. Because like you said,
Okay.
if this is your child, you wouldn't want to do that to your child, or you don't want it to be done to your child. So tell me, what was your overall perception of Rebecca? What was the significance of that, her character in the story?
Okay. I like the substance and the suspense that Abi Dare put us into
Yes.
through the character of Rebecca. Because
Yeah.
we're like, what's happening? What's so special about her? She didn't just let her go off her faces. She made her there, taunting us and saying, okay, you're almost there, you're almost there. So it felt
Leaving
like, okay,
clues here
can you
and there.
just let me know what's happening with this person? What's the big deal about her? Although I had an item that Big Daddy had something to do with Rebecca, but I was not too sure. So like, let's get to the end of the book. And then we now realize that we have several Rebeccas. One thing that is constant with maid issues is sexual harassment, and we must be
Yeah.
factual. We must be factual. And usually when it happens, the mothers of the house will not tackle the real issue.
Which is the
They will
husband.
take the girls, yeah, take the girls and change them. So how many maids
Mm,
will you take?
mm.
How many? Ideally, you should not even pick a young maid, not less than 18 years. But we
That's
know
child
what
labor.
happens.
I
Yeah,
totally agree.
it is against the law. You should not even be found doing that. But you know what occurs in this environment? We have several child maids. And
Yeah.
these children, as young people, they are raped, molested. And these women will know, some of them
Mm,
will know, and they would, she seduced my husband. How would a child of 12, 13, 14, like,
mm.
seriously? So now what would a Rebecca do? Now, we must say that even though Adunni was not educated, so educated, she had a different mentality from that of Rebecca. Rebecca spoke impeccable English, you remember.
Yes.
She was trained. Her former madam did her well, took her to good schools like her children, you remember.
Yeah.
So she could not say that she was not educated. She knew better. But I feel that even though she knew better, or should have known better, she was a maid, maybe coming from a very, from a very, maybe
Mm,
rural area. So she doesn't really have much exposure. And then when that tells her, don't worry, I will marry you. So she felt that that
mm.
was next. And
That's the
also,
ultimate marriage.
what we tell girls,
Mm,
so she feels that, okay, after I'm married, what's the next? Let me marry, have children. There's nothing special about me. Now compare that with Adunni, who
mm.
had no opportunity but had revelation about her future. So we must tell girls you can be more. We must tell girls you can be more. There's much more to you than being, what you are. You can do several things. Tell them, women who have done it before, they could do it. You can too. There are no limits. So if someone had told and taken time to invest in Rebecca, like I don't know what I did for her, I feel that she may have not fallen for that lie.
Yeah.
And stood around. And for a Rebecca outside there, see, shout, scream, report to the authorities. Take yourself away from that environment. You are being used. And these things will cause trauma in you that might have long-reaching consequences. So if you are there or you know someone who is a Rebecca and you keep quiet, then you are not doing well. Scream, shout, save someone else's life. What if the person gets pregnant and no abortion? Look at Rebecca. Big Daddy lied. He knows that he dares not marry a second. He doesn't even have money. He wants to marry a second wife.
That's true.
His wife is his money making machine now. So what money will he use to take care of Rebecca? And then he now gave her a drug that will abort her child. That is his second offense. And then if not for, I dare say that, if not for Madame Flores, that guy would have bled to death.
Yeah.
She would have died. So look at Madame Flores. She wants to keep, she has to be married. Without marriage, you cannot be respected. That's
important attached to marriage, and therefore the woman's dignity tied to her marriage. Yes.
No leave no transfer. Even if you are being humbled, you are being slapped, you are being disrespected grossly, and all that. She says, no, I'm not going anywhere. So I should have spoken out and given him ultimatum. After this, any rubbish, you are off the hook, or I am done. I didn't want to talk about this and that. She was able to make her choices, and that's the power of feminism. You cannot put a woman in a box, because I'm not really I don't really go in line with people saying leave or don't leave. It's up to her to choose.
Yeah.
You cannot put you into a box. So what if Rebecca wanted to be a tailor? Good. Just get empowered. You don't have to go to school. If you don't like going to school, are you getting now? Get empowered. Get something doing. Tell yourself, I can do it. I am not a second class citizen. I am somebody. I'm special. I am unique. There is more to me. So a woman can choose what she wants her life to be, but in choosing, choose right. Make sure that your happiness is not being shortchanged, and that someone else, it will not be taking the aggression of that decision. Look at Adunni. She was the person that was taking that aggression. Big Daddy would throw it at Big Mommy, at Florence, and then she would throw it at Adunni. Who could not say or defend herself. So why would you try? You are the one going through issues. Why would you put it on someone else, a young girl for that matter, a young teenager? You get what I'm saying now. And also we also must treat this issue of infertility. We have it through Miss Tia.
Yeah.
And you see once again how for me I was almost crying when they were beating her. It was not funny. But I could see that a woman can be more. This is it is okay to dream of marriage. Very beautiful. I love it. We all look forward to getting married to amazing men, because we have amazing men outside. But if it's not a do or die affair.
True.
You get that? Because look at Miss Tia. Our mother-in-law felt that she had demons dealing with her. So they had to flog out do a holy bath so that those demons would fly out. But we know how that bath went. We know what happened at that bath. And then she realized that her son was the issue, not even Miss Tia. So you see a typical woman's life in this modern world, especially an African woman's life. So for me, every Rebecca out there, don't take yourself from that situation. You can be more. Run, scream, report. Don't keep quiet. People are ready to help you, but you must be willing to take that step out of darkness into light by opening your mouth and say, I need help. I am being used and molested. Help me. And then help will come. Surely help will come.
Thank you very, very, very much. I've enjoyed every bit of our conversation. I believe that anybody watching would have learned a lot. And I'm hoping that many of us will begin to take decisive steps. Call them out. Call the woman out.
Call them. Keep quiet. Call them out.
I mean, beating children that are very,
Yeah.
very young, and the kind of beating
Yeah.
you are being given is, we need to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
them
I
out
told you about that
and make
story
them
too. I told you
accountable.
about a man was raping girls, young children on the same streets. No one spoke up. He would always settle them, settle them with money, and he would keep 12 young girls. Young children were molested. Like, until someone said enough is enough. If number one had said, hey, you would have saved
Mm.
other girls, because everybody by the circle kept on, going on. Someone said, this must stop. I will report this issue. And that's when breakthrough came for people on that street. Imagine if nobody spoke up. Young girls. What if nobody spoke up? Maybe do better. Maybe do better.
Mm. Thank you so very much, Oppai, for your time. I'm so grateful. But before you go, there's
It's
this
a pleasure being
question I
here.
want
Thank you
to
for
ask.
having me.
I want to ask you this question. What is that book you think everybody must read before they leave planet Earth?
Before they
If you
leave planet Earth.
That ultimate book, like you say, if you don't read this book, you cannot die yet.
The issue is that I don't have any ultimate book, because,
Okay.
like, for me, books are like it's like, look, like, if you see an onion, you peel it off. You continue peeling.
Different
You
layers.
get
Yeah.
different meanings, different layers. Life just opens up to you things that you not see. One person cannot give you everything that you need, because a writer is, shaped by their ideologies, their environment, their background, their experiences in life. So to have balanced diet, you have to diversify. I can talk about several books that you could read, but I can't say there's one ultimate book.
Okay, so
I'm not
give us a list. Maybe 2 or 3
okay.
you've enjoyed and you think people should also read.
Okay, let's start with the Louding Voice.
Yeah.
No, for me, in recent times, yeah. And I also will never forget Uchimita's books, all our books, The Slave Girl,
Slave Girl, Motherhood.
yeah, just a Motherhood, Second Class Citizen, and a host of others. I won't forget that. Professor Eziego's books, the trilogy, Children of the Eagle, House of Symbols, and
Roses
and
and
all that. Yes. And then also I like, because I'm a Christian, I read lots of Christian books. I like Karen Kingsbury books. You can give that a shot to read that a lot. And also I find someone's book who has stayed with me over the years with Stella Oyedepo's book.
Yeah, you always mention that book.
Till date, that book has such, for me, it broke me. So I can't forget that.
You need to say the title.
The Rebellion of the Bumpy Chested. The Rebellion of the Bumpy Chested by Stella. I went through hell to get that book. You remember what went down?
Yeah.
I went through, I dare say maybe 70 or C's and all that. But that book, impressed on me so much. It changed I had this, this soldier-like attitude to feminism. Like, calm down. You have issues as women. We have women against women.
Yeah.
Stop pointing those fingers at other people. What about you? The issues you have. Now look at this book. We have women being against other women in the book.
Women who are enemies of women.
Yes, can you imagine? So now it's not about other men, about women. So it broke me. I said, Opeyemi, calm down. Even this evil there, it's amongst you men. So look inward before you start to point outside. So it made me mellow.
Yeah,
it made me like, okay, life is about, we can't do without each other. That's the fact. You can't do it alone. It's not possible. You need somebody else. You need an extra shoulder to rest on and all that. And marriage is actually very beautiful. Beautiful beautiful relationship, a beautiful union that you actually enjoy, not, so if you find someone that is good, why not stay there, be a nice person. Don't be like all those, women that we see in our books that are always carrying too much fire on their heads, and I did themselves. They're not anyway not guilty. They have some heaps and heaps of terrible tales in their life that people cannot share because they are terrible people around them. So that's for me. I will never forget that book. Stella Oyedepo's book. No, it broke me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has had their pencils or their pen and biro writing out those books. You can go get theirs. I can't tell you enough how important books are in changing our perception, making us more empathetic. Now I would not look at maids the same. After reading this, I'm sure that my attitude to maids. Not like, I'm not saying I had a very bad attitude, but I will see them in a different light. I begin to
Yes, yeah,
see my
some
I should
decisions.
it's like I want to watch out for them the more. And that's the beauty of books. I have never read a book that really talked much about this issue. And I feel like for Abi Dare to shed light on it, I think, and it's a big issue, it's not a small issue. So I'm recommending this, like you have also recommended. Anyone who wants their copy, it's sold in many bookstores around Nigeria. They can always get
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Oppai. I am grateful.
I really
I
enjoyed my
definitely
time with
will
you.
have another chat with you. I can't wait.
I look forward to it.
I can't wait
I
for
do look
that
forward
to
to it.
happen. It will
Have a
definitely.
swell time.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Dara. You're welcome,
All
Dara. Thank you for
right.
having me.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
So I hope you enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you are going to take active steps in calling out domestic violence when you see it. Please, it is all our responsibility to ensure that every girl child, everyone, whether even girl or boy who is a domestic worker, is not treated as less than a human being. So thank you for watching. Please, if you have not subscribed, just click on the subscribe button and notification bell so you get all the information about all the videos I'll be putting out there. And if you have not yet liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I will be so grateful. Thank you so very much. Bye.